My room is a fucking mess right now, so I thought this would be the perfect opportunity to clean it with you guys and also yap, because why the fuck not? So, first of all, we're going to take a look at my bedroom and kind of see the before and after. I thought this was kind of a perfect opportunity. It's like a room tour, but also you get to see how fucking messy it is. I have literally been going through it ever since the Katy Perry concert, which you guys will hear more on the Katy Perry concert itself. But then you'll get to hear about the spiral at a very later date. It's literally like the end of October right now. And I started detailing the spiral in like September. And that shit is probably not going to come out until late summer of 2026. Like, I don't care. It's not ready. It's going to be a time capsule. I will be moved past it, and it's gonna come out, and I'm gonna be like, "What? That happened?" So it'll kind of be fun to kind of let you guys hear about that later. Who doesn't love a time capsule moment? So yeah, my room is a complete mess. I have also, aside from the spiral from seeing Katy Perry, something else happened, which I will go into detail about in this video, which I was going to say for its own video, but, I don't feel like sitting in front of a camera and talking about the worst fucking sludge ever, because when I'm cleaning a room, I get to talk about other shit at the same time. So let's get into this. So over here we have my bed area. You can see my lovely collection of garbage on the floor and all the clothes that I just feel too exhausted to literally walk over to my basket and put in there. It is kind of scattered, I'm one of those people where I don't have a home for a lot of things. I'm like, no, my 3DS absolutely belongs right here on the floor because I know that's where I can find my 3DS. So we have this area over here next to my bed, and then we have my little recording area, which, I don't even know. I'm like, what else? Where else am I going to put these post-its at? I don't know what to do with that. And then we have literally the other half of my bedroom. So we have more clothes, and the worst part, which is literally all this fucking garbage. It's just been collecting. This is where I like to sit when I wake up. I don't know. I'm one of the girls that likes to sit on the floor. I need my floor time at the end of the day, and this is just where all the garbage goes. I usually try and be very mindful with, cleaning up and doing all that, but, I'll get into details as why I haven't. But also, I had this idea to, clean my bedroom with you guys and yap. So, at a point, I stopped worrying about cleaning it, and I was like, you know what? This is content right here. I'm gonna let the garbage continue to build, and I'm just ready to get this room fucking clean. I don't like a dirty room. So we got all this clothes, we got so much garbage, and then the other day I went to a secondhand shop, and I was got in this Kylie Minogue mood. I love my classic bubblegum pop, whatever you would describe her as. I was listening to the Love at First Sight, one of the best Kylie Minogue songs, and one of the best pop songs ever, period. And it showed up in my dream even. And it's just that beginning part, that da 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 da, bow 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 bow. And it's like, damn, how did they do that? So I went to the secondhand shop looking for Kylie Minogue, and the only thing they had was Tension 2, which I enjoy. I really wanted to get a copy of Fever. I thought maybe I owned a copy of Fever, but I only own Kiss Me Once and Aphrodite, which is very interesting. I will have to get myself a copy of Fever at some point. It is really such a goated album. I would love to own every single Kylie Minogue CD. I've really gotten back into collecting CDs because that old fear of streaming doesn't last forever has really been reinvigorated in me. lately of like this past year or so. Cause even on like streaming services like TV shows and stuff, you can never subscribe to one thing and then have it there. It's always getting moved around. So I've been like collecting CDs again. It doesn't hurt to have like a physical copy of a disc. A lot of albums that I listen to today that are usually like synth heavy, electronic, blah, 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 they really don't play well on a record. So I don't see the point in spending like $30 to $40 on an album I'm never going to listen to. And like, I'd rather just, if I'm gonna get a record, it's gonna be like Fleetwood Mac or something. And it's like, it's not gonna be the fucking Dreams. It's gonna be Tusk, because that's their best one. I'm telling you guys, the whole album is so good. Sarah, the 10-minute version, So yeah, I got Tension 2, which was a really cool album that came out last year. I would love to get Tension 1 and Disco and all that shit. But like, I would have to say my favorite on this album is definitely My Oh My. I know like a lot of people aren't the biggest fan of that song, but I just love it so much. I have like a deep memory of like last year when it came out, and like there's this video online of these like two women, I guess they're like married, they were shopping in like a Victoria's Secret, and this woman was like trying to bully them, and they're like two very old women, and one of them ends up pushing the other woman on the ground, and it's like there's so much to be processed with what's happening between the women, but in the background, My Oh My by Kylie Minogue is playing, and it just like made the whole scene, and I was like, you know what, I actually hear something, and it is a good song. I really enjoy it. I love that they're talking about like their horoscopes, and Tuve Lu's part has to be my favorite. She comes in, like, she doesn't have that much time in the song, but her time in the song is just so deeply goated. Like, her vocals are just so, ooh, like, I don't, like, what is she doing? She's got, like, this tone about her. And then you guys just know I had to pick up Smile by Katy Perry. This one has to be, for the most part, I think this might be my favorite Katy Perry album. And don't shoot me when I say 143 might be my favorite Katy Perry album. But there's a lot of reasoning behind that. I'm not saying, like, objectively it is her best album. It's just my personal favorite. I have a lot of memories with it and a lot of meaning that goes into that album. Like, why was I crying to Woman's World, and we can get into detail about that. I plan on doing a Katy Perry era swap because I saw like something on a thread. It was like a game where you like pick songs for a different era, like what Smile song sounds like it would belong on One of the Boys, and everybody was just coming up with the most ass answers, and I gotta do it myself, because it was pissing me off the whole time. I had to stop looking at it. But if I had to choose my favorite track off of this album, it would definitely have to be Cry About It Later. This one definitely reminds me of her earlier work, like Teenage Dream. It really has like that hook that's just so catchy and addictive, and it's kind of dark, It's what I would have wanted out of the dark version of Prism that she talked about before Roar came out, and it was like the complete opposite of her burning the blue wig. So yeah, I would definitely, Smile is definitely up there with my favorite albums by her. I would think it would have to be like 143, Smile, and then Teenage Dream, because that was just a fucking given. And definitely not the end of the world. I really enjoy this album. A lot of people gave it hate. They're like, I hate the cover. But no, I love it. Like, she's like sad, but the album is Smile, and it looks like a mouth, and like she feels like a clown. I was reading the booklet in this, and she says, sometimes I write these really inspiring songs because I need them myself. And like, not like every track on this album is literally inspiring. Like, she was just going through it. People are hating on like songs like Resilient, and I'm like, no, this shit is like, when you were down in the dumps, sometimes you need to hear Katy Perry singing about being resilient. And I love it. I love the simplicity of it. It feels very minimalist, but it hits in the right spot. So I love this album so deeply. She can do it without Dr. Luke. She she's 100% capable. And, just if she's really, not feeling confident, just call Bonnie McKee up. Get her back in the studio. And then I got a copy of The Monster Ball by Lady Gaga. I was a little too young to go like see her live in person. You already know that I did not grow up in a household where I was allowed to listen to pop music. So obviously I was not going to see her at the age that I was when this came out. So I thought it would be really cool to like grab myself a copy since I never got to watch it, and it would be really cool to watch it. I haven't watched it yet, but I did previously get the Katy Perry Part of Me Blu-ray, which I did see back in the day, not in theaters. I don't even remember when or where I watched it. It was probably at like a friend's house or something. So I thought it would be the perfect opportunity to also pick up this bad boy. But yeah, so let's go ahead and get into this. So before I get into why my bedroom looks like this, I want to talk about Taco Bell for just 1 second. I fuck them, first of all, for taking the fucking fries off the list. You know, I hate having to like go pick up a meal and I'm like, well, my only side is gonna be like these like chips and cheese because I don't, because the fries aren't available. Well, they finally brought them back after this like 90s or whatever campaign, and I was like, fuck, I gotta go get some. So lately, you know, usually I have been getting a cheesy gordita crunch. As of lately, I was getting like the cheese and bean burrito, but it got really old to me because I was like the only thing I was getting, and so I started doing the cheesy gordita crunch. And then these came out, and I got a cheesy gordita crunch and the french fries, but then I was like, I'm not even enjoying the cheesy gordita crunch. I literally just am here for the french fries. So lately, I've just been getting 2 things of fries and then an extra thing of cheese sauce, and it's been filling me up. That's been like it's been a good meal. I have to be honest. And so I took a little day trip. I haven't really been out because of said reason that, you know, I will get into. And so I came back for my little day trip, did something nice for myself, just went out, got some sunlight, blah, blah, blah. And on my way back, I decided to stop at Taco Bell. I was like, I'm gonna get me some of these nice French fries. And I got home, and they're fucking freezing. Like, what the hell? What is the disrespect? Like, not too much on like these workers, but why the fuck did you hand me? And these weren't just like any cold fries. These were literally, I felt like I touched them and they were colder than my hands. Like, this was like they came out of a fucking fridge. Like, did you do this on purpose? But my trip to Taco Bell, I said, I'll give it one more chance. I will go back tomorrow, or like, you know, I mean, when I had them and they were cold, I said, I'm never going back. But then yesterday came around and I said, you know what, I'll give them one more chance. If I get them cold again, then I'll just never come back and I'll just write them off. Well, I went back yesterday and I got some, you know, my typical 2 fries, extra thing of cheese. And the person in the line complimented my Shadow the Hedgehog backpack. And I was like, oh, that's like fucking awesome, you know? And I love it, you know? And so they asked me, they said, we're actually just finishing up the fries, so we're gonna need you to pull up near the door. And I said, okay. And, you know, I pulled up and I waited and I saw the girl come out, but then also the dude came out too. And they both came out to my car. You know, I talked to the girl and then I talked to the dude. And I was like, did you play Shadow Generations? And he was like, yeah, it was awesome. And I was like, what's your favorite Sonic game? And he started to think, but then he, like, had to go back in because, like, his coworker, like, yelled at him. And he was like, I gotta go back. I don't want to get in trouble. And I'm like, go. I don't want you to get in trouble either. But it was such a cool interaction. And the fries were piping hot. So it made up for, you know, the fucking fridge fries. And it's tiny moments like that that truly make me feel not alone. There is nothing better than, like, getting to talk about Sonic the Hedgehog to a stranger in public. I feel like it's just not that common. And so getting to have that is like a little tiny spark of life, you know? I love to not feel alone. And it was awesome to also see someone else, you know, and be like, oh my God, I want to hear about your experiences with Sonic, because I love Sonic the Hedgehog. I want to talk about Sonic the Hedgehog with people. So let's fucking get into this. I have all these water bottles. I like to, and some of them are like kind of empty. I like to like pour the remaining water into the other water bottle. I don't know. I don't give a fuck about the hygienes. Don't fucking comment in my comment section about hygiene. Like, this is my water bottle. I literally drank out of it. And I'll just crush up the other ones. This is probably bad for the environment. I don't fucking know. I am not the sole person responsible for the environment. We should take that up with the bigger systems outside of us, but like, that's not my responsibility. Like, I am not a fucking global warming activist. If I could change something, I absolutely would, but I am not in control of that. So anyways, we're going to redistribute any remaining water into a water bottle, and when and if it fills up, I will just put it back in the fridge. So recently, I felt, after my post Katy Perry concert spiral, I, had to kind of come back to myself. It really felt debilitating in a sense. I got extremely fucking triggered, and it, made me feel like my life was falling apart. And that's like the worst thing, is like anything bad can happen, and it's like the end of the fucking world. And, who's to say what is bad and what's not, good? Because, having these realizations, which I will also go into detail about later, was also eye-opening for myself. So I have, I took a long time, and I don't want to say a long time, but man, it was probably about a month or so of like spiraling and like having to come back to myself. And I started to slowly feel my spark come back online, which is also like trying to deal with, a job that I feel like doesn't 100% like support a schedule that I would prefer compared to a schedule that I have known in the past with a job that I found using my human design, which absolutely provided me everything that I needed at the time and would do the same today, but it's not the same job anymore, unfortunately. So I, have been wanting to invest in some astrology crypto coins because, the astrology isn't a meme. It's not going anywhere. It's not like 6-7 where it's going to like die off one day. This isn't some Hawk Pua shit. This is like, people will always believe in astrology, and the economy, it's just unsustainable. And we're just moving towards a more digital age, like AI is not going to disappear in the sense that like neither will crypto. So I might as well invest some money. And I, have been wanting to at least have in like a good amount by the end of the year, because the astrology supports it becoming a more prevalent thing in our society. Digital currency, being able to support ourselves and support others. I don't know if any of you are into it. I'm not like a big crypto head. Honestly, at the end of the day, I don't give a fuck. I'm just trying to like support myself so I can do my thing and make my like own life. But a cent, a physical cent in real life, like a penny or whatever it is, the lowest bit of anybody's currency, is a physical. You cannot break a cent up into like so many hundredths of a decimal. I don't know, I wasn't good at math. You can't break it up, But in Bitcoin, because I did do some research. I'm not going into this blindly. So in Bitcoin, you can literally break that 1 cent up into like so many decimals. And that's insane to think about. Even your 1 cent is worth something in crypto. So I'm trying to like invest in some like astrology coins, Astrofolio, if anyone is interested. And Look at all this cheese. This is literally all the cheese that I have gotten from Taco Bell. And it's cheese, it's worth it. Is this working? I don't know. It was literally, there was juice coming out of it. This is the worst. Fuck vapes. Fuck candy flavored vapes. This shit, we were so close to being free from cigarettes, but they just had to come out with vapes that taste just like candy. Fuck you. Okay, I'm gonna see if this works real quick. It's the worst. I'm like, I hate this shit, but also it's so addicting. I just want to fucking like throw it all away. But once you do, you start like itching and shit, and I don't have health insurance. So I really cannot, get the proper help that I need. I was trying to get put on like a safety program to where I could get like free therapy and extremely cheap medication, and they just never got back to me. I literally called them and they were like, oh yeah, there was never a follow-up and nobody's reaching back out to us now. And I'm like, well, that just makes me want to give up, because you guys like literally don't give a fucking fuck about my well-being, which is insane. Maybe I'll get to it one day when I'm like, you know what, I do need therapy. And to an extent, and I don't even want to say to an extent, like I know I need therapy, but like some things that we can do are like therapeutic for ourselves. And like if I can manage it right now while I'm in this like emotional low when it comes to like reaching back out to help. And it's not that I like don't want to reach out for help, because I do, I'm always, open, extremely open. And bitch, I literally beg to go to rehab, like extremely open to help. There's nothing I love more than a helping hand. But I think it's the fact that they don't give a fuck. I'm like, this just feels like disrespect. Like, it's probably my ego. It's like annoyed at this point. But like, all these napkins, I literally collect napkins in my room. I just have to start throwing them away now. Like, I have a little corner like in my room. I don't know if you guys can see it. It's like napkins, which is pretty good, honestly. I like to have them just like nearby, if I ever need them. So yeah, I don't know. I definitely would love to quit vaping. It'll happen one day eventually when it just fucking happens naturally, I guess. I love a good Q-tip. It's so yellow. It's not yellow because my ears are disgusting. It's yellow because I have this weird fascination with seeing it build up. So I keep the same one. I'm like, damn, the human body is so crazy. I don't get it, But anyways, so I decided, because of the crypto, I was like, well, I need to get at least like a seasonal job. I've been looking for a job anyways, because this other job that I have doesn't really support me. They're usually working me like 2 times a week, and I'm working like 4 hours each shift. So that's not really sustainable. I like to have like a nice schedule. So I was looking for let me go grab some bags. So I'm gonna go ahead. I just went ahead and got like a big black trash bag, and I'm just gonna, I like to use these other bags to like pack most of my garbage in, and I'm going to put them in this black bag as they fill up. But yeah, so I was like looking for another job, maybe like a second job, and why don't you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna take this and I'm gonna put it right here on my door, so it's easy to just like throw it in there. I'm gonna go ahead and actually start putting all my laundry into the laundry basket. I need to do my laundry, and it'll happen, but this video was the perfect opportunity to do that. And look at that, there's so much of my space has already been cleaned. It's so satisfying to watch it get clean, I have to be honest. So yeah, so I decided I was like looking for at least like a seasonal position, because I do like my other job. I get a lot of perks, and so I don't mind, doing that. It's nice, but so I found one. It was like a retail store, and I'm like, okay, this could be fine. There were 2 that I could have chosen from. One didn't give me an ick, they both kind of made me feel excited. So I was like, okay. But, the other one, the one that I ended up going with, was pretty cool, Like the dude was like, I have a really good feeling about you. He used to work somewhere I used to work. So he was like, I know you know what it's like. And I was like, yeah. And he said, I could see you like staying here past the seasonal position. And I was like, sure, which obviously I knew, like, in my head that wasn't gonna happen because I just needed something very, like, quick and dirty. So I ended up going with that one because it seemed, like a better option. The pay was pretty well. They had a dress code. Like, I had to wear the brand, which is fine. I didn't mind. He said that, like, the deals are good. So I was like, whatever. I'll fucking take this one. The other one didn't have a consistent schedule, which worried me a bit. And I'm still glad I didn't go with that one. But, so I went in. And I went in for, like, the orientation, the part where you, like, put in all your details and stuff. And it was a different person. It was a woman who did that with me. And we're going to do the same thing here. We're going to take all these water bottles and fill them up. But this woman, she was talking to me a bit. And she was asking me what I, like, do outside of work. And I was like, well, I like to make videos, And I told her, I said, I used to, like, lay in bed and watch my favorite YouTuber play Sonic the Hedgehog, when I was, like, a child. I'm talking, like, elementary school. And y'all know who that favorite YouTuber was? It was Kobater Money, our fucking GOAT. I don't know if there was any other. I'm sure there were. But, like, he is, like, the original Sonic the Hedgehog YouTube Let's Play GOAT. I fucking love him. And I hope he is out there thriving and doing something amazing right now. Because I know he is. He is the fucking GOAT. So anyways, I would like watch him when I was a child. I loved him and I would look up to him and I would think to myself in bed. And I told her this. I said, I would think to myself in bed, like, I hope I get to do that one day. And the fact that I get to do that today is amazing. It's literally a dream come true. And it's not easy, It's a fucking hard task. When you are faced with life's disabilities over and over, it's very hard to get up again and again. It's not as easy as some people would make it out to be. You see someone, like, doing their thing in a video and you're like, oh, well, they just have it together, blah, blah, blah. And that's not the fucking truth, Like, everybody had to do something to get to where they are today, unless you're a fucking goddamn Nepo child. But that's just me being a bitch. I'm sure they had to do some work, But anyways, so I told her that, and, I thought she was pretty cool or whatever. And then I started actually, like, going to work. I told her, at first I was like, I can work Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, and then I'll go work at my other job on Sundays. And a little, like, maybe 2 or 3 minutes later, I said, you know what? Can I actually have Fridays off? I don't want to burn out. My baby, my priority is recording and editing videos. That right there takes energy. And, okay, fuck this shit, actually. This is disgusting. It literally tastes like flavored dust. Fuck you. I've never been to Buc-ee's, and I will never go. I met so many people, they're like, well, there's a Buc-ee's. And I'm, what the? I don't give a fuck. Like, if you're taking a 12-hour drive somewhere, Buc-ee's is not the place I'm going to stop. Take me to some, like, actual, like, I want to see the largest ball of yard. I don't give a fuck about a fucking goddamn gas station. Anyways. So I told her, I said, I can't work Fridays. And she said, that's perfectly fine. And I was like, okay, perfect. This should be sustainable for me. When I worked at my Yes job, I worked about 4 days a week, but it was evenly broken apart. But also, I was going to get fucking fish on the clock. So, like, that's really hard to replicate. So anyways, I, got scheduled. I came in and for my first day, and I didn't really have a schedule at that point. And, I thought to myself, I said, this is really hard, Like, it's not that I've, like, not worked retail before. I've literally been in retail for, like, the past 10 years of my fucking life. But it was giving the first job that I ever had, which was really tedious. It was the same thing all the time, and they wanted you working constantly, like, no breaks. This was a big box store. I'm gonna do a ranking one day of, like, all the jobs that I've had, and it was giving me severe flashbacks to that. And that was the store that he worked at. So I was, like, not surprised that he was running it like the goddamn Navy. it was literally no breaks. You only get 10-minute breaks, which is completely unsustainable when you're on your feet all day. Not to mention, you have to work non-stop. I was on the register non-stop. If I wasn't on the register, I had to go out and like work somewhere else. And it was like, they wanted you to be so tedious with it, like going through every single shirt that was hanging and like pulling out sleeves. Like, what the fuck? I don't ever think about that shit when I go shopping. And I'm a pretty like OCD person when it comes to like how a store looks, just because I've been in retail and I like to make it look like a goddamn magazine. I'm really proud of my folding, but to the extent that they were worried about it, just like, it pissed me off so bad. There was like no time to breathe. Like, even when nobody was coming through the line, which was rare because there were people in that line constantly, I would go over to Yap to one of the people that was really cool with me. And like, I couldn't even get a minute in before one of the people would come over the headset and be like, we need you to go back to this area. I didn't forget, like, I am so aware that I am supposed to be in this area cleaning when there's nobody in the line. But like, I'm working all the time and you only give me 10-minute breaks. That's enough time to walk outside, breathe, and then come back inside. Like, that is not a break. So I couldn't even yap to people for like more than a minute. I couldn't get in like 30 seconds worth of a conversation until somebody came over the headset and was telling me to do what I already knew to do. And I promise you, I like to work. The last thing I like to do at work is like be on my phone the whole entire time. I like to do things, So it was just honestly so disrespectful. And I was like not feeling it at that point. And then it came to my attention. I checked the app with my schedule on it, and I had gotten scheduled on Fridays. And these were already terrible shifts. I do not like working the first thing in the morning. They had me coming in at like 9 a.m. and I had to wake up like 2 hours before, to get there. And I'm waking up at like 6 and 7 a.m. to go work like the worst job that I've ever fucking worked. This spiral was worse than the Katy Perry concert. So then they have me scheduled on Fridays. Even when I told them, I said, I don't want to work Fridays. This is how I burn out. So it was at that point when I had been disrespected. But then I waited, I said, maybe she will come up to me and preface that she had scheduled me on Fridays. And that's just what she was going to do. And she didn't say anything. She just went on about her job. And I said, you know what? This is it. Like, that was my sign right there. Because I was going to try to make it last as long as I could. I honestly thought I was going to make it until Christmas. But like 2-3 days in, I'm like, you know what? I can't do this. I don't want to be here for long. I wanted to leave on the third day. On my way in, I was itching so bad. It took everything in me to actually walk into that store because I just almost didn't show up. And I said, you know what? I am going to work out the rest of this week and my next week, and I am going to get my nice check that will support me long term in the future. And then I'm going to leave. I'm just not going to be there anymore. So I did that. And it's not very easy because there were some cool people. There was some autistic dude that like would talk to me about Sonic, and I'm like, awesome, we're the same. 2 peas in a pod. He was talking to me about his like Sonic the Hedgehog 1 movie theory about it being loosely based off of Anne Frank, and I'm like, what the fuck? How did you come up with this? What was going on in your brain that like formulated this? Also, guys, Luigi's on the ground because he is emotional support. He comes with me everywhere, but he's also got to come back in the house, and I got to keep him right there so I don't forget him. And it's not that I would forget him, but like sometimes I'm not thinking about my bed when I'm leaving my bedroom. You cannot stay at a miserable job just because people like your work ethic. I'm a hard worker. I love to work, But that woman, she was disrespecting me. She told one of my coworkers that she is the only reason I got hired, which was actually laughable because I was fucking doing it all. no offense to everybody who was on the cash register next to me, but nobody was giving it like me. I was straight up, like, bringing all of the fucking energy. I was getting all those rewards. I was straight up arguing with some customers I was fucking, like, laughing with. No, because I had this one customer, I'm trying to sign them up for these rewards. And because, you don't get the emails, you don't get the texts, you don't get harassed, you get your money back for every dollar that you spend, and you get free shipping and handling online. So I'm like, why the fuck not sign up for it? And so I was telling this one person, like, they just had to put their phone number in, and they put it in. And so I didn't ask for an email. I really wasn't giving people an option. I'm like, give me those numbers, it makes me look good. And they were like, actually, we don't like rewards. And the old dude was laughing. And I said, really? You don't like rewards? You don't like getting money back on money that you're already spending? Have you ever used the McDonald's app? I've been getting those McChickens for $1, and that builds up, and then I get free food on top of that. And his wife was like cracking the fuck up, and he was like so visibly mad. Like, he thought he was gonna get a key out of me. Like, he thought that he was like keying right there. He was like, haha, we don't like rewards. I said, fuck you, bitch. Like, do you know how much I gained from that fucking McDonald's app? Like, I swear I was promoting that McDonald's app more than I was, like, the actual store. Because even if the person signed up, I'm still talking about the McDonald's app. I'm like, bro, I've been getting McChickens for $1. Do you know how insane that is? That has been, like, feeding me, actually. But, so I was giving all the energy. I was fucking, like, laughing and, like, talking to every single customer, which was basically my only form of socialization. Because everyone else, anytime you're not at that register, you are expected to be working nonstop, and you can't even yap with people. It was so boring. And again, like, even if there are nice people there, even if you are recognized for your hard work, it's not worth it. Because why am I driving to work wishing that I would run into a pole? Do you understand that? No job should make you feel like that. When I worked at my Yes job, I was allowed to, one, do whatever the fuck I want because my manager trusted me. I came up to her. I said, I've been working on the gene wall for 4 days in a row. I want to do something else or I'm going to go fucking psychotic. And she said, Riley, do whatever you want. I trust you. And that was amazing. And the fact that, like, I could take a break from doing all that and untangle necklaces at the cash register with, like, paper clips, and me and her would just stare at it for, like, an hour trying to untangle, was, like, amazing. That is the type of breathing space I enjoy. I looked out for her, and she looked out for me. She said, I'm hungry. Will you go pick up something for me? And I would, like, walk over to a restaurant. That was amazing. That's airtime. That's sunlight time. There was so much breathing space. And at least I got a fucking 15. Like, no, don't ever succumb yourself to some crummy ass job just because they pay well. I don't give a fuck if this place paid me $300 an hour. I would never want to work there. So I worked, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, showed up to my other job on Sunday, didn't work for the next 2 days. And then I came back for Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then I didn't show up Saturday. I said, fuck you guys. I mean, a lot of you are really nice, and it does break my heart to an extent not to come back and say hello, but I just didn't show up. I was planning on, like, calling and shit, but, like, I've given enough, honestly. I was giving 100% of my energy, and I wasn't even the main cash ringer. I wasn't the main ringer on the register, which was probably the biggest insult because, like, I was fucking giving it all. Even one of them came up to me and said that, like, my numbers were the best. So it was very questionable that they had me on the floor where I had to be, like, dead silent. I was, like, talking to myself 90% of the time on the floor because I was that bored and miserable. I had to make up my own entertainment, but to even an extent, I started to get bored and exhausted. Like, even this is taking energy out of me because I'm in a fucking terrible ass place. They literally, I say that it is worse than my Katy Perry concert spiral because it literally reinforced that I'm nothing more than a body. You know, I had a feeling that that woman didn't take, after she started scheduling me on Fridays, even after I said I can't work Fridays, I had a feeling that she didn't take what I told her seriously. Like, you don't know my life. I literally almost died last year, and this is me, like, coming back from it. This is literally me doing what I can to, like, live with what I have and, like, live the life that I can. You know, like, I have a life. I might as well, like, try to live the best of it. And she just, like, tossed it over. She said, this isn't real work. And I'm like, fuck you. You don't respect me. You don't respect the work that goes into this. You don't respect the work it goes into having and living like a human life. Like, I'm sorry that, like, corporate sludge has completely consumed you, but, like, that's, like, even for you, that's no reason to, like, give up. You know, you should still strive for your best life possible, and licking the man's boot is not the best life possible. That will never be you. I don't give a fuck. Not even Katy Perry has $1 billion. So I definitely knew I had to leave. It felt like it was truly, like, reinforcing this belief in me that I'm, like, nothing more than a body. And, you know, I started to believe it. And it's been a very long time since I started to believe that type of shit. And it's crazy that even a job can do that to you. Once you are removed of your autonomy, it's like you start to, like, lose yourself. And that's absolutely what happened. And that's when I knew that I absolutely had to get out of there as soon as possible, because it felt like I was losing my spark. And as soon as I got out, as soon as I fucking got out, you know, I gave it like 2 days, my creativity started to come back online. I'm, like, formulating ideas. I'm, like, seeing a fucking reason to live. And that's, like, how serious that shit is. Like, if you are in a job, I don't give a fuck if they pay well. I don't give a fuck if they, you know, if you have a good friend or two. A good friend will not care that you do something to support your life. Look at this old ass burger. Like, how long has this shit been here? And the fact that it's, like, kind of still together too. This is a McDonald's burger. Basically, I know it's not a McDonald's burger. I haven't had a McDonald's burger in so long. I've been, like I said, I've been eating those McChickens. I feel like I actually, like, get energy from it. I eat a McDonald's burger and I'm ready to, like, jump off a cliff. Like, it absolutely steals all of the energy away from me. I don't like them. They may, like, sound like a good idea, like, burger. But, like, at the end of the day, I don't really fucking like it, you know. We're gonna, like, do some cleaning. Because a lot of this stuff has been, like, sitting here. Just in a sense. I don't know. Maybe I'll leave this, like, out. Because I like these, you know. This is my, like, little card. This is my little, like, trading card that I, like, made myself. And then we got, like, my Mario Kart trading cards here. The real RIL 47 heads have seen those before. We're gonna put these. I got a note from, like, my aunt when I went to go see Katy Perry. So I decided that it's enough. I finally paid off, like, my credit card debt. I had to pay a settlement because it was way too much money for me to ever pay. And not, like, that much. It was, like, $8,000, I think. Maybe it was, like, $4,000, actually. I don't think it was $8,000. And because I met someone and his sister was, like, $40,000 in debt, and she was younger than me, and I was like, damn, I guess I don't have it that bad. But I finally finished paying off my settlement, so I got to, like, pay it off for cheaper. And, you know, like, and I got, like, the money that I needed for my crypto. So I'm like, you know what? Why the fuck am I working so hard? I'm going to take a well-deserved break. Because with that credit card looming over my head, it was like, I have to work. I have to work. I have to work. I have to work. So I was like, all this, you know, these past couple of years, I've just been working, like, nonstop, essentially. And I don't want to say nonstop because I did have my Yes job. And they were only paying me, like, $13 an hour. But, you know, I was fucking going to the fish store on the clock and, like, picking up my coworker a fish. So it did not feel like work. That was, like, extremely sustainable. And I have to be honest, that was, like, the most money that I have ever had in my bank account. So, that definitely wasn't like sludge, but, ever since I left there for unfortunate reasons, like I've had to find another job and, pay off the rest of this credit card settlement. And I finally paid it off over this past month. So, like, I'm gonna fucking rest. Like, I don't care if the other place only works me 2 days a week. I changed it to only 1 day, which is Sundays, and I haven't changed it back because after that job, I need to rest. I like to make videos, and I don't want it to like be halted or stalled because of some stupid ass job that doesn't even respect me as a human being. So have been resting. It hasn't even been a whole week, and here I am, fucking recording again. My biggest worry when leaving that job was definitely the customers. I worked at a game store earlier this year, and the one thing I missed the most was like the interactions I had with those people. I loved selling video games and like video game consoles and accessories to, people that also play video games. It was awesome. We got along so deeply, and I wanted to bring that energy that I, wish that I could have had myself, for myself. And that's what I loved about it, was being able to bring what I wish other people had brought. And I had great interactions with a lot of these customers from this store, and that was like my biggest worry, is because like I was having a good time talking to those customers. And going back to this other place, and I already went back, and I don't really feel to a large extent like valued by my coworkers, which is fine. You don't have to be liked by everyone. But I did a little social experiment. I was a little curious because I'm always the one going up to people and talking. I'm like, have you done anything? What are your dreams? What are your aspirations? Blah, blah, blah. Asking them questions. What video games you play? And I realized, before I held this experiment, that like no one really asks me about myself. And I wanted to see, oh my God, Mario lost his head, you guys. And I'm like too attached to let go of it. It's fucking, most people would say it's garbage, but I call it a relic. Anyways, so I wanted to see. I was like, okay, let me just have a fun little, social experiment. I'm going to come in and I'm going to greet people, but I'm not really going to talk to them. I'm going to see if they come up to me. And one person like in particular had that fear about, they didn't say a single word to me. And I came in another day and I was ready to like greet them. They didn't even acknowledge me. I was like, what the fuck? Why am I putting in so much energy with people who don't even like fucking acknowledge my existence, So it's like, I don't fucking get it, So it's really having to choose between like two, and I wouldn't call it an evil, because at least at this other place, I fucking have like autonomy. At least I have like the ability to not be there 24/7, and I don't really need to be working somewhere 24/7. So it's like, you know what? I'm just going to have to take this for now, because I'm not done. I'm not going to be done like with jobs. I'm a classic little job hopper. But like for now though, this is all right. I am not upset at it. But I just realized I was there the other day and I was trying to talk to customers and they were like so quick and quiet, which is understandable. It's like kind of giving fast food the type of environment. And so it's like not a surprise that they're not really here to talk. They come up and they're like, I want to get this and this and this. And there's no time to like have a conversation. I'm like trying to ask someone. I'm like, where's that accent from? It's really cool. And they were like so quick. And they're like, just give me my fucking food, man. And I'm like, well, fuck you. I'm trying to talk to someone. Nobody really here talks to me. So this is where I'm trying to get my like social interaction from, And so it's like having to choose like some kind of like between the two. And, if I'm only there like once or twice a week, then I guess I'm like fine with that, because at least I get to like, you know, take on my own life and like do my own thing and like continue to create videos instead of being like dragged down constantly by some job, by people who do not respect my like autonomy, my career. Like she would fucking accommodate people that were in college. Bitch, I'm in school too, basically. Like, no hate to people that are in college, but like, damn, why can't I be taken seriously also? So we're gonna pour this water into these water bottles, and we're gonna have a second to breathe. And just enjoy the water being transferred over to another water bottle. It's like therapeutic if you think about it. Anything can be magic if you make it to be magic. You know, we're creating our own luck right as I do this. See, that was nice. That was kind of like satisfying, you know? This fucking bracelet, I haven't like given up on it yet. I need to though. I took it, like I went with a friend to like a river, which also these people were like peeing upstream the whole time. It sucks, you know, we went somewhere that like a lot of people go. Apparently it used to not be like very known, but you know, now everyone knows about it. And they were all fucking peeing upstream and coming down to where me and my friend were, and it smelled like piss the whole entire time. It's like I'm swimming in piss. But anyways, so I wore my bracelets into the water, and this one got all like crusty, and I just need to throw it away. Like, it doesn't have that like smooth surface anymore. So we're gonna go ahead, we're gonna thank it for all of his hard work today in assisting me with being a badass bitch, and we're gonna throw it away. So basically, we are pretty much done cleaning my room. I've done the water bottles. I'm gonna go put that back up because I'm never gonna fucking eat that. We're gonna pour the water from this cup into that one, and we're gonna, you know, put all these dishes away because there's no fucking reason for them to be here. I don't know what to do with a lot of these like post-it notes. You know, I have these like inspiring, you know, affirmations and stuff that, you know, I kind of keep in front of my like setup just in case, you know, and especially in the beginning, that was like definitely really needed in a sense, you know, for me to believe in myself. And I feel like affirmations really can be helpful. You know, back on my old job, my yes job, I would like, you know, write little affirmations on notepads and like hide them around the store, or I would put them in the mirrors in the fitting room. And you know, one of them said, "I'm so proud of myself," and you know, you're supposed to repeat that back to yourself. And someone responded to it. They said, "I am so proud of you too." And it's shit like that that makes like everybody feel so connected, you know, with it all. Just like Zara Larson and her never-ending midnight sun, you know? And so I love a good affirmation, but I love using them in like other senses for like videos and stuff. What do we got? Fucking garbage. It's not garbage, but it served its purpose. Y'all already know. All right, so we got some more garbage over here. We got so many popcorn bags. If you guys want to take a fucking guess at, like, where else I'm working right now. I'm so, like, anonymous. I try to be anonymous as fuck with, like, you know, what I do and where I live. Because, like, bro, there are people in my... Well, you know what? It actually might be multiple people that, like, I feel like if they could kidnap me, they absolutely could. I don't want to say could, but, like, would. And I'm just not trying to give them the upper hand, if that makes sense. I've literally talked about this on my channel before, like, people wanting access to me that should not have access to me, and I am mentally ill and easily susceptible to manipulation. So, like, do not judge me for, like, almost fucking following through with it, you know? But these fucking candies are so good. It's like Tajín mango rings, but they're so old. They're like a little hard. Oh my god, they're so fucking hard right now. They're like all the way back from April. I was gonna finish them, but there's like too much sugar in it that it gave me a headache. And I just like, I have a fucking problem with letting things go. Some fucking chalky milk that's not even there anymore. Because who doesn't love some good old chalky milk? And then this like fucking shot glass. I hung out with somebody from this other job that I have, and you know, they reached out to one of my friends to confide in about me. Like, they had a problem or something. They were like, is so-and-so mad at me? Blah, blah, blah. And I, like, called them out because I didn't like that. This girl is, like, 17 years old. Like, you need to not be doing that. You know, like, why are you... How old are you? You know, this man is, like, 32 or something. And so I called him out. Like, I was going to go watch a movie with him anyways, but that pissed me off. And that was the first thing I said in the car. I said, you can't do that, man. Like, if you have something that you need to say to me, you need to come to me directly. I'm not a mind reader, and it's not her job to be a messenger between the two of us. And I think he got a little mad because he never actually addressed what was said. Obviously, I was told what was said, but the fact that he never came to me to begin with, and not even later, you know, like, even if I knew what he said, I still want to hear it directly from you. And he never did. So I've been kind of distancing. But like that night that I went out with him, I was playing the how many shots can I take before he shows up game. Which it was in that moment that I realized that if you have to take shots, if you have to be inebriated just to be around someone, you probably shouldn't be hanging out with that person. You know, they're not going to feed you energetically. And it was so true because I came back feeling so drained. I had an ass time. I did not have a good time at all. Like, we watched Him, which was like a fucking dokey ass movie, fucking shit from the butt, and came directly home. I thought we were going to go out afterwards. He just took me home. It was giving like, just get out of my car already. You know, but I was having a blast in a sense, you know, because I was fucking fucked up. I had like this much tequila left, you know, and that's why I played the game, because I thought that like, might as well get rid of it. And I thought I wasn't going to get that drunk, but I ended up being super fucking drunk, maybe because I took like 10 shots in 20 minutes. And, you know, I listened to like Midnight Sun on my drive home, or like when he drove us home. And, you know, it just, the energy wasn't there. It was, like, non-existent. Like, I'm always bringing the fucking energy. And that can be really exhausting sometimes. So, anyways, my room is essentially done. I am going to show you the afterwards. I'm going to go get a fucking cat today. And I'm also going to, which I will show you guys. And I am also going to get myself a binder for all of these cards. Because my cats did... We did have another cat, but some Riley lore. My mom left my puppy about like a week or two ago, and she took her cat with him. So now we only have one more cat, and she doesn't really like to like come and cuddle and like be your friend. So I'm like, I need my own cat again. I miss my black cat Nemo. Real RAL 47 heads no. And So I'm going to go get myself a cat. I miss having a fun little furry friend, but my mom's cat and even the other cat that lives in this house, she's not really cuddly. She doesn't like to do that shit. They both have messed up my pile of cards like on multiple occasions, and I just need a binder to put them in. I know I've needed a binder, but it's also really cool to just like look at them. But I haven't had the time or the means to get myself a binder, so I'm gonna do that today before I go and get this cat, which is really exciting. So I'll kind of have like a new binder and a new friend that I'm gonna show you guys. But I'm gonna clean up like all the dishes and stuff, and I'm going to show you guys what the bedroom looks like afterwards. All right, so my room is essentially clean. No more disgusting, filthy fucking mess over here. And I'm about to go get a cat. Hopefully an older cat. I want, you know, a kitty. A kitten is cool. I love their energy. But I need an old cat, an experienced cat who already knows about life and just wants to chill and cuddle. Have you guys listened to that new Selena Gomez song yet, In the Dark? It's kind of fun. She goes back to like the old kind of like pop dance, like kind of house vibe. I really enjoy it. I really wish she like followed through with like the singles that she came out with like earlier in 2024, late 2023, like Single Again. Was that what it's called? Single Soon and Love On and like Selfish Love and Calm Down. Those songs were so good. I would love to hear like a classic pop album by her. Even though, you know, this album, I Said I Love You First, that came out this year, peak Selena Gomez, in my opinion. That has to be like the most in-depth, vulnerable album she's ever released. Honestly, it's my favorite. It feels like what Rare should have been conceptually. She just wasn't there yet. But it's really exciting. I'm sure that we've all heard Crank by the time this video comes out by Slater. I would love to do a reaction video, but YouTube would not let me react to cannibalism. So that's just not going to happen. We're just going to have to talk about it. And also, has anybody tried the new Hemlock Springs? Or Hemlock Springs in general? The Hemlock Springs is very good. I'm going to get myself one of those $1 McChickens. I'm going to let the cat distribution theory do its job. If I end up with a kitten today, it's going to be named Taco. I don't give a fuck. But honestly, we're hoping for like an older cat. I just want like a really cool dude or girl to like chill with, you know? So we're gonna end up meeting them in this same video. Okay, after a long day, we finally did it. And you guys, we have to meet the new member of the gang. You guys, meet Beep. Isn't that fucking awesome? Beep. Beep. He's a pretty cool cat, you guys. He is 1 year old and he is a... Oh, you're not supposed to be licking that. Do not lick that. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to scare you. Please don't lick your pee-pee. Please don't lick your pee-pee. He just got... Please don't lick your pee-pee. He just got neutered and he's a Libra and he's pretty cool. His name was Keaton, but I want to name him Beep. Unless y'all come up with something better. I'm not calling him 6'7". I might call him Brain Rot. I don't know. But he is the new member of the family. Say hello. Say hello, Beep. Meow. He's such a good cat. And I have to be honest. I am a little afraid. I think I'm afraid of responsibility. And I get like so scared sometimes. That like maybe I can't do it. But, like, I love cats, and hopefully I will do an amazing job taking care of him. He seems really cool and really chill. And just, you know, looking at him in his eyes, you know, it's something about, you know, taking care of this, like, animal. They are literally putting their, like, life and their trust into you. So I feel like that's like really scary for anybody, but I'm really excited. I've missed having a little fur baby, like a fur buddy in my room, and I'm excited now to like finally have a... Please don't lick your pee-pee. You are not supposed to lick it. I love you. Don't lick your pee-pee. He's a cool dude. And I finally got the Pokemon binder for all my cards, and I'm so glad that I walked in and they had this, and it's Togepi, which is so cool. I think he's like such a little cutie badass, and you know, I had all these cards right here, and so I spent some time, and Beep was able to help me kind of like put these all together, and I just did it by vibe. I did not have any certain order. I love Drowsy because he's like the first card you get in the trading card game, like that you do the tutorial with on the Game Boy Color. And I'm just excited to really have it like all kind of sorted out. Wait a minute. That's my goat, you guys. That is my goat. I think that's a really cool card too. The Electabuzz. Yeah, and that's about it. I only have like a couple more pages left to go. How many is that? It's a couple, honestly. I messed up at one point and forgot to put like the stage 2s in the fire. And so I had to move like all the, what did I have to move? It was like all the dark Pokemon. I had to like move them over. And it was like a little tedious having to pull them all back out. Yeah, I had to move all the dark ones because I missed some of the fires. I had them all sorted over here. But yeah, it's really exciting to finally have them all sorted and separated in this binder. So I don't have them like just on the floor, which I thought would be a little too much for just now getting a cat. All right, thank you guys so much for tuning in to today's kind of yap adventure moment. I don't fucking know. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'll see you next time, and peace out. Say peace out, Beep. 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 Say peace out. Meow. Okay, so I had to update you guys like 3 months later, but I absolutely did not keep that cat. And that's honestly why it took so long for me to like come out with an update. I think it was just really intense for me. I think it was a lot to take care of another live being. I don't think I realized how hard it actually was, which literally, don't shoot me. I think I did the best thing by bringing him back to the animal shelter. They don't like euthanize the animals, they take care of them. It was honestly one of the hardest decisions I had to make. I think it was easier for me as a child to raise a cat because I was already so high energy. But like having depressive episodes and like going through hurdles is really a lot on my own to begin with. So it felt like a lot more to take care of another living creature while also trying to take care of myself, and it didn't feel right for that cat. I want that cat to have like a good home. Not saying this isn't a good home, but I wanted him to have like owners that were extremely attentive and who like already in a sense could like take care of themselves. And it's just like, it's a lot for me to take care of myself, like in general. Like you guys saw my bedroom, you saw how like fucking disgusting it is, and it was also really hard like having a whole streaming setup and a cat that wanted to get into all of it. And that's just something that I personally am going to have to wait for one day, like when I have my own place and like a room dedicated to streaming, because my bedroom is also where I record and do all my creative stuff. So I like can't have a cat like really chewing on wires or anything, you know, that's like dangerous for the cat. And so it was a lot. It was a very hard decision to make. I was literally like sobbing taking him there. I called my mom and I sobbed to her about it. Like, they gave him this little blanket to go home in. And I'll probably show you guys right now. And that just made it so much harder because, like, they sent him home with, like, all of this love, you know, and it was hard because I wanted him to have a home full of love. And it's not that I didn't have love to get, but, like, I would be the only person taking care of him. He needs, like, a whole entire family. Like, nobody else that lives here is actually here. They probably wouldn't take care of him in the way that I would need them to. I would want them to. I would prefer them to. And so it was really hard. I felt like I wasn't giving him, like, that love. I wanted him to get what that blanket represents, and it tore me up so deeply inside. It was a very hard decision to make. I did speak to my mom afterwards, and I sobbed to her about it, and she said, no, you did absolutely what you should have done, which was great to hear. And, you know, I told one of the girls about it, and she said the exact same thing. And, like, it was hard for me to believe. Like, I knew deep down that that had to have been the best decision for me to make. But I also felt horrible because I wanted him to have a home. I wanted him to come home with that blanket with hearts on it, and for it to be, like, truly representative of the kind of life he was going to live. And maybe bringing him back was allowing him to live that, because I'm just not in the place right now for me to have a cat. I would love to have a cat. You know, I love cats so much. I think they're the best. And I think that's why it meant so deeply to me for him to have that. Like, so I took him back, and the women at the shelter absolutely gave me a hard time about it. I was like, has anybody ever, like, done this before? You know, because I told them everything. And they were like, yeah, but not in one day. And I was like, what did I do? I'm literally, like, trying to make the best decision right now. And then some lady came over and she asked what was going on. And I was going to answer, but then the other lady answered for her, and she was like, well, he can't take care of him. And I was like, girl, I could take care of him. It's, like, the fact that, like, I can barely take care of myself. This is, like, adding on one more thing that I would love to have, but, like, don't need to do. Like, I already have so much responsibility to begin with. It's not that I couldn't take care of the cat. It's that I want the best for both me and the cat. So it was really nice to, like, talk to my friend and then talk to my mom afterwards, because I already felt horrible and they just were not helping. I was like, how can you not see that I'm doing this out of love right now? It's very painful for me, and I can't even imagine for the cat, because I didn't want to take him back. Like, if we're being so honest, I did not want to take him back. I wanted to do the absolute best that I could, and I think that's what made it really hard, was, like, or what contributed to me taking him back was the fact that I wanted the absolute best for him, and I wanted to do the best. And if I can't be the best, then, like, what was the point? And maybe that's, like, my own, like, lack of, like, belief in myself, but I think I made the right decision. And I wanted to let you guys know that that happened, and I didn't just, like, abandon him. And, like, if you were ever curious, like, where is Beep in these videos, he is with a family, hopefully a family with a mom and a mom, a dad and a dad, a mom and a dad, and, like, children, because he was pretty high energy. I don't have that high energy. Like, there was an old cat at that shelter, and I would have loved to take him home if he wasn't, like, 10, 15 years old. My cat died at 10 years old, so that scared me a lot, but he was really calm. And hopefully I can find an adult cat when I'm in a better place in the future. But that is why Beep is not with me. He is with a whole entire family, and hopefully with kids and, like, high energy people, because that is what he needs. He was a young cat. He was only, what, like 5 years old? But yeah, thank you guys so much for tuning in. I will see you next time, and peace out.